I'm doing something.
Oh my god!
I guess.
Oh my god! I think we're live.
We're live.
I think we're live.
Hi,
We
everybody.
are live. Oh my goodness. Who's hosting? Who's hosting? Do we have a host?
I don't know.
It's a communal host.
Maybe
It's a communal host.
we'll all host.
Yeah.
Okay.
All host at once.
That's
the
kind
same
of how
time.
it actually is
Welcome.
anyway.
Kind of.
It is kind of like that. It
Okay.
is.
Kind of like that.
But yes, welcome all to the show. My performer in me has to lead the charge. We are here for episode. What is this? Episode 8? Is this 8?
It's the finale.
think so.
It's the grand finale.
It's the finale. Sound
Eight-
wait, it's
I
8.
like that because 8 is the, in numerology, 8 is the number of completion.
Yes, I knew
Julian
yeah.
Child should know all about that.
that. Julian Child, Julian knows all that. Justin doesn't know that. But also, 8 is the number that.
But Justin
that a
is
lot
speaking of himself
TV
in the third
series.
person, so we're getting there. We're getting
Yes.
closer to Julian.
Yes. Hello, Justin is my name. Justin would like to say hello to everybody. We have Annie Ellicott, Gary Furlong,
Woo.
Jeff Hayes,
Yay.
Mixmaster Ahmed, and waiting in the wings is our author extraordinaire, Emily Labor.
Yes, but she's in the wings. You
But
can't
she's in
see
the
her.
wings.
She's in the wings.
You just imagine her. She's there.
Imagine
She's
her
with the
flying.
outside.
In the
We have a
wings.
beautiful, rowdy audience. Who brought fireworks? Did somebody bring fireworks?
Someone's a silly Billy.
Mike, that's
ain't no fire.
a
No
little dangerous.
fireworks in the booth.
Yeah,
It's
it's
okay, I
dangerous.
think
It's a fire
this-
hazard.
Is Rockwool fire resistant or fire
Both.
good?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like it's got a higher temperature resistance. It'll resist fire,
Try to
but
start
then
fire at
once
sea.
it catches, it explodes. Like you're screwed.
Okay. All right. So maybe
It's like
can it
my
on the
heart.
fireworks, people. Got it on the fireworks. Maybe that's why Ahmed's background is so colorful.
Yeah, it was the fireworks.
That's exactly.
It was the fireworks.
If you are here watching us, thank you very much for joining us this evening. It is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Sunday evening if you happen to be in Toronto, Canada. Yes.
Beautiful in Tulsa, too.
Where my
With
dog's
tornado
at.
warnings in Denton.
Ooh.
Oh,
This is bad news.
that sounds
Is
exciting.
that a sign of good weather? I'm going surfing.
Yeah, if you get to
Everybody
the eye.
likes to go out on their porch, and when it's tornado weather, people all go out on their porches.
Fire up the
paradoxically.
grill, make a steak in the rain.
That's what it's like in
Yeah.
Oklahoma.
Love rain steak.
Ooh, feel those negative ions, the tornado.
Yeah.
Let's eat on the
Negative
porch tonight,
ions.
honey.
These tornado ribs taste good.
He says as
Tornado
he's
ribs.
swirling around the house. Who do we have here? We have. Oh, I always forget this gentleman's name. He has the Chinese symbols, I think.
He'll tell us in a
Um,
sec.
Man,
He
I've
will
studied
tell us.
Japanese for
I
years.
always
and I
forget.
still
I have to
can't read
write it down and make it my screensaver.
Facebook
Frank
user's
Avila
back.
is here.
It's
Facebook
2
user,
a.m.
my
in
boy.
Holland.
Facebook user.
¿Cómo está ahí?
See, if I ever move to Europe, I can still do the show.
We have
in the middle of the night.
Dead Chimis. Hello, Dead Chimis. What is a chimi, guys? You guys
Chimichangas,
know what that-
probably.
Ah.
That makes total sense, right?
I have never had
Dead
one of those.
chimichangas. Yeah.
Dead to rights.
What does that
I got
make
those
sense,
chimichangas.
Jeff?
Dead to rights.
What's
I
that
have
supposed
yes.
to mean?
Jimmy.
Tori Wilson.
I'll let you
Tori Wilson.
figure that one out on your own.
Josh Nelson.
Oh, I guess
Josh
I'm
is
just a
here.
country bumpkin who doesn't understand cultural references. Is
I
that
guess
it,
not.
Jeff?
I guess not.
Well.
Dead Chimmy said I was right.
There
See?
we go.
Watch this. Watch this, everybody. Hold
You
on.
win.
Where's my mouse? Right here. Oh, here it is.
Virtual high
Yeah,
five.
see? Jeff's got it, he said.
There we go. There we go.
So, I
yes,
was
we
right.
have the
I was right.
we have the ability. Jeff has the magic, the superpower, if you will, to make your comments visible. So I want
is-
all of y'all active in the chat, saying how much you love Sambu Theater, how much you are excited to see the finale written by Emily Labis of Love in the Time of Corona. All the things that are gonna make Jeff laugh, and click that button, and
Yes.
you'll get your 15
Also-
seconds of fame. My
Also, fart jokes,
friend. Fart
butthole
as well.
jokes. I will also post those.
Yeah. With
so-
Jeff's
Why not?
discretion, which is not much.
Also,
Fart jokes.
very
shark
much like
jokes.
like Andy, has her little reel of burps.
Yeah.
I have a reel
yes.
of farts from my booth.
Oh,
that
good.
That I'll
Oh man, you've been holding out on us. We didn't know about this.
I haven't. I've been actually letting her rip, but I've been
Yeah.
keeping it a secret.
Have you ever knocked yourself out?
Yeah,
With a fart?
not with a fart.
Oh,
okay.
no. I mean, you're in a
But
closed space there.
you've had to open the door after letting a good one.
Oh,
I
yeah.
certainly
hell
have.
yeah.
But if you try and
Yeah,
power
yeah.
through, I think you should try that.
I could
Try
I mean,
powering
it's
through.
kind of, it's like a natural high. It's like
Seen you
spinning
after
around
crying.
really fast for 30 seconds. It's great.
You guys hear that? You hear that?
Ahmed,
that is-
excuse you.
That's
Excuse
Mixmaster
you.
Ahmed on the buzzer. You know
Was
what
the
that
buzzer,
means.
Though? Was it the buzzer?
That
That
means
was the
keep it on the
buzzer.
sound
Else.
booth.
We are out of time. We are out of time. Thank you very much for coming, everybody, today to Sound Booth Theater Live, the movie. It's been a great time. We just saw a comment. Facebook user, Bradley, my boy. There you go. There you have it. As you all know, we have been doing this weekly for 8
This is the
weeks
8th
now.
week?
2
So,
months. This is the
Number
8th
of
week.
completion.
And while it has been an entertaining ride and fun show, and Yo-Yo Ma's here, it's a crazy night. It's also we have a purpose. We have a purpose here. We're not just doing it for laughs. Jeff, can you tell us a little bit about what we're doing?
Our main purpose, I think, is to make sure that we're keeping a strong connection with you guys while we're dealing with this quarantine. But our second purpose would be to collect a bit of charity donations to global giving. We're giving to this charity because they supply PPEs to people on the front line, first responding medical worker people types. And we want to keep those people safe so that they help us end this quarantine as soon as possible. So far, let's see, last week we collected, I believe it was $314. And over the last 7 weeks, we've collected a total of, let's see, if I look at the GoFundMe.
He's
a lot.
pulling it up. It's a lot.
I'm pulling
A lot of money.
it up. Oh man, I hate trying to deal with web addresses one-handed.
Multiple windows
GoFund.
open on your screen. It's
Yes.
hard to
By the way, check the
navigate.
description of the YouTube video. You will find our link to our GoFundMe. Okay,
you, Ahmed.
so already someone has donated $20 today.
Whoa,
we are at,
thank you.
Yes, we are at $3,845 on GoFundMe, and on Tiltify we're at $1,100. So that means we're at $4,945 right now. And our goal for today is $700. So if you guys donate up to $700, I will be matching your donations. So that's
Dang.
doubling anything that you guys donate up to $700.
And keep in mind, this is the finale. So
This is the finale.
Yes.
So this is your last chance to help us reach
Last
a really
chance.
nice number. I mean, I think more than $5,000 is pretty good for a bunch of weirdos like us to have done.
It is.
Yes, I
And
think
it's
so.
like the cherry on top. That's what's
It
great
really
about
is.
it.
It really is. But you know, this whole experience, it's kind of inspired us all to want to keep making these. We're maybe not going to make Sound Booth Theater Live the movie, and we're probably not going to keep up with the charity thing forever.
Yeah.
I think it's more fun to not have these interruptions so much, as much as it feels good to help out. I think it's
We like to play.
we like to play, and we want to hang out with you guys more and feel less like we're trying to push things in a certain direction and just do what we want to do and have fun. So, but you guys have made this a great success so far. I mean,
right.
if you guys don't even donate another dollar, we've almost gathered $5,000 total. And it feels good to have helped out in that way. So thank you guys so much. And I think it's time to get on with the finale of Love in the Time of Corona.
Oh, heck
Let's
yeah.
do it. Cue the music, Mixmaster Ahmed. Mixmaster, even.
Previously on Love in the Time of Corona. After 5/7 of a fortnight of incessant messaging, Julian Child finally asked Felicity for her engagement in a video chat. Naturally, she eagerly accepted his proposal, as Julian waxed dime store philosophical, and Felicity lapped up every word, Ford simultaneously engaged in a video chat with a somewhat dreadful woman named Kaylee or something. As the two digital first dates progressed seemingly in unison, you, gentle viewer, bore witness to some truly cringeworthy conversation. While Ford was far from enchanted with his tiresome bachelorette, Julian's banal ramblings and obvious name-dropping somehow captivated Felicity. When the two conversations reached their respective conclusions, both Ford and Felicity were left utterly gobsmacked, albeit for drastically different reasons.
Who is it?
It's me. Let me in.
And what, pray tell, has you so chipper?
Just look.
Hey, Felicity. Just wanted to thank you for yet another mind-blowing session of dialogue last night. I don't know which I'm more grateful for, your amazing insights or the fact that you're the best listener I've ever known. At any rate, I always leave our conversations feeling totally revived, and I wanted to do just a little something to say thank you. Check out the sign-off in my latest video. I tagged you in the post announcing it. There's a hidden message just for you. I hope you like it. Yeah.
Wow, what did he say?
In the video?
Obviously.
I don't know. I got the message and came straight here.
Well, what are you waiting for? Pull it up.
Well, hey friends, it's your buddy Julian here. I know a lot of us have suddenly found ourselves with more free time on our hands than we're used to and are looking for constructive ways to fill that time. So, today, I'd like to talk about the 25 Instagram accounts that have totally helped me up my quar game.
Why don't we just skip to the end here?
No. If he asks what I think about the video, I want to be able to tell him accurately.
Okay, well, why don't we watch the shout out for you now, and then you can watch the full hour-and-a-half long video later.
Fine.
Namaste, and have a great evening.
Oops. Too far.
Here, let me try.
While Lauren struggles to locate Julian's hidden message to Felicity, Felicity briefly reflects upon how much her relationship with the credential-less lifestyle guru has grown in the half-month since their first FaceTime call. Each subsequent call has taken place 3 or 4 days after the one that preceded it, and although always responsive via text in between, his replies can sometimes seem aloof. Felicity is unsure of whether to attribute this to his busy schedule or the fact that he is a sensitive individual who often must remove himself from the cyberverse for the sake of his elevated psyche. Either way, Felicity has challenged herself not to take Julian's occasional distance personally, particularly given the literal distance between them. Still, she has been searching for a sign that her relationship with Julian might have a future IRL. Perhaps this shout-out will be just that.
Okay, I think I found it.
And I can honestly say, I've never cried at a targeted ad as hard as I did when I scrolled to that one. It was a surprisingly cathartic moment, discovered in the most unexpected of places, and I'll be forever thankful for it. Anyway, on that note, I think I'm going to sign off, but before I go, I wanted to address these stunning roses brightening up my day. I got this bouquet delivered with groceries from my favorite locally owned market. So, friends, consider these beauties a reminder to keep supporting your local businesses. And remember me with a rose. All right, everyone, I'm out. Namaste, and have a great evening.
Oh my God!
Wow, yeah, I'm sorry, Fee, I don't think I get it. What's the message?
The roses! I told him on our first FaceTime that they're my favorite flower, and he remembered.
Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. So, what about the remember me with a rose part?
Well, I don't totally get that part, but he's so deep. He practically thinks on a different plane of existence. I'm sure he'll explain it to me later. Either way, it's gotta mean something, don't you think? I mean, he got my favorite flower delivered, did a whole thing about them in the video, and he even tagged me in the post promoting the video.
Yeah, for sure.
What is it?
It's nothing. Don't worry about it.
No, seriously. Tell me.
Well, it definitely means something. I just wouldn't read too much into it, you know? I mean, it was pretty vague.
Well, yeah, but he did say it was a hidden message, and he did tag me.
Along with more than a dozen other accounts. And all the tags are on top of each other, so you can barely see who or what they are.
The whole video is about different Instagram accounts. I'm sure it's just the handles of those accounts. Let's try one. See? Look. This one, @RobinWrong, is another influencer, and he's a dude. So, he must be one of the accounts Julian mentions in the video. Bet you anything they're all like that.
I'm sure they are. But still, if he's serious about you, why does he need to hide your handle in a video that's basically an ad for other Instagram influencers?
I never said we were serious. It's still early. I'm just having fun. Besides, he probably just wants to protect my privacy, especially since we don't even really know what we are yet.
Okay, fair enough.
You don't seem convinced.
I've told you how I feel about it, and you've told me how you feel about it. We don't totally agree, but I see your point, and I hope you see mine. I don't know what else you want me to say.
Eat shit, Lauren.
Are you seriously this upset just because I gave you my honest opinion?
No! I'm upset that your opinion is always negative.
That is completely untrue.
Oh, really? So, you didn't try to talk me out of dating Ford just because you heard he was shitty to someone we're barely friends with?
That is not what happened. I expressed my concerns, and that was that.
It seems like all you do these days is express your concerns.
Excuse me, but if I'm not mistaken, I'm also the one who pointed out that you have the ideal situation with Ford.
I don't have anything with Ford anymore because of you. I haven't talked to him since that last text he sent me after I told him I needed space.
I'm sorry. Whose fault is that?
And that was after you talked to me into messaging Julian.
Okay, we were drunk and being stupid. I didn't know I was actually setting you up with the guy. I just thought we were having fun and taking a chance.
So, take chances with your own life then. Oh, that's right. You don't even have a life to take chances with.
Wow. Sick burn, Fee.
Whatever. I'm done with this conversation. You know the worst part of this pandemic is?
Enlighten me.
I can't fucking get away from you.
As Felicity storms all the way across the hall to her own bedroom, she is struck by a wave after crashing wave of loneliness. For her entire conscious life, her older sister has been her best friend and greatest confidant. On the rare occasions when they've fought in the past, Felicity has always been able to vent her frustrations to another close friend and promptly make up with Lauren once she's blown off steam. This time, however, Felicity has no one else to talk to, not because of the ongoing quarantine, but because Lauren is the only person who knows of Felicity's flirtation with Julien, as Felicity does not want to risk jinxing a budding relationship with the influencer. For a brief flicker of a moment, she considers turning to Julien for emotional support, but she quickly quashes that notion as she does not want to burden the pseudo-celebrity or give him reason to believe she's high maintenance. For an even briefer flicker, she laments the fact that she can't text Ford about her predicament. Throughout their brief courtship, he had always lent a sympathetic ear whenever Felicity required one. Instead, she decides to watch Julian's latest video in full, so that she can begin to formulate her response. Exactly an hour and 28 minutes later, she finishes the video wondering where the time has gone.
Hi, you. Sorry it's taken me so long to respond. I wanted to watch the whole thing before I got back to you. Thank you so much for my special shout-out. I can't tell you how much it means to me. And the video as a whole was great. Such an awesome list. I started following @SharingStone immediately. Anyway, thanks again for your sweet message. I hope we can talk soon again.
After hitting send, Felicity gently places her phone on her bedside table, wishing that either sleep or a reply from Julian would come quickly. She slowly closes her eyes when her wish is granted by a text from Julian.
I'm so glad you liked it. Blushing smiley face emoji. Doing something that I thought would make you happy made me happy. Just do me a favor. If you get any message requests in your Instagram DMs from people you don't know, ignore them. It seems one of my more popular fan accounts noticed you were tagged in my last post and started looking at our comments to each other on some of my other recent posts. I'm so sorry for any annoyance this may cause you. I've tried to shield you from potential harassment, but I suppose it comes with the territory of being involved with a public figure. In any event, the best advice I can give you is to just delete all the messages without reading them. It's the only real way to avoid their toxicity.
Felicity can hear her own heartbeat in her ears as she reads the final words of Julian's text. Admittedly, since she and Julian graduated from Instagram direct messages to text messages, she has slightly neglected her Instagram inbox, which she now notices has amassed 84 message requests from strangers.
Wow. Thank you so much for the heads up. I'll do my best not to let them get to me.
I have faith in your resilience. But seriously, just delete them. I'd hate to think I brought any sort of negativity to your life. And as much as it pains me to say this, a very small faction of my fans can be a bit rabid.
Okay, I will. And please don't worry about it. It isn't your fault.
Thank you, Felicity. Your kindness is truly a gift. I've got to get going. I'm hosting an online masterclass on how to launch a foundation during a global pandemic. But let's definitely FaceTime ASAP. Blowing kiss emoji.
Under other circumstances, knowing a digital angry mob was sharpening its pitchforks and placing her in their sights at that very moment might have filled Felicity with an unprecedented mixture of excitement and terror. Tonight, however, Felicity is too drained from the roller coaster of emotion on which her fight with Lauren and Julian's shout-out have taken her during already tense times. Within minutes of giving Julian's message a tacit under other circumstance, she drifts off into a heavy sleep. The next morning, Felicity awakes with a dull headache and a sharp sense of regret at her fight with Lauren. Not enough regret, however, to give her the impetus to go across the hall and bloody apologize. Instead, she curiously decides to check her Instagram message requests to kill time.
Whoa.
Throughout the night, the requests have grown from 84 to 362.
Jeez. And they're still coming.
Strike that 363! Although she gave her word to Julian that she would delete them without reading them, she made no promises about scrolling through them and reading the brief previews. While many of the messages are messages of congratulations in the vein of, "Yas, get it, queen!" many others are borderline threatening in nature. "Why are you stealing my man, bitch?" reads one. "He's mine, you whore!" reads another. Some of the women seem to be speaking hyperbolically, while others seem to genuinely believe that they are in relationships with the internet heartthrob. Felicity tries to ignore these sorts of messages until one catches her eye. This particular message comes from a woman with the handle @RememberMeRose.
Hey girl, you don't know me, and this is probably going to sound crazy, but I couldn't help but notice that the @JulianChildren fan account did this deep dive into you on their story. I'm sure it's all perfectly innocent, but I just have to ask, is there something going on between you and Julian? He and I have been seeing each other for over 6 months now. We keep it on the DL to protect my privacy, but it's getting pretty serious. I even break quarantine a couple days a week to go be with him. If something is going on, I totally won't hold it against you. I'm sure you didn't know about me. I just need to know if he's seeing other people. He promised me he's taking the shelter order out here in Cali seriously, but if he isn't and I'm at risk, I feel I have the right to know. I'm sorry, I know this all sounds crazy and I probably have nothing to worry about, but when I tried to bring it up with Julian, he told me my concerns are just manifestations of quarantine stress and I need concrete answers.
What the hell?
Felicity can feel the tears coming on as she rereads @RememberMeRose's message a second time, and then a third. Suddenly, the other messages from women claiming to be somehow involved with Julian feel less hysterical, and she begins to lend them some credence. Of course she isn't the only woman to whom Julian lends his attentions. Yet knowing that not even her hidden message was for her alone brings her to new heights of embarrassment. She yearns to run across the hall and allow herself to be comforted by her sister, but her humiliation at brushing off Lauren's concerns prevents her from doing so. Without thinking, she picks up her phone and begins to type.
Hey, Ford. I'm sorry to text so early. I know it's been a while, but is there any way you can talk for a little bit? I feel horrible for even asking, but I'm having a really awful morning.
Before she can stop to regret her brash actions, she receives Ford's reply.
Of course. What's up? Are you okay?
End scene.
All right. Things are turning up. We got one more segment of Love in the Time of Corona coming up in just a second, but we just wanted to reiterate while we're in between. We usually have 3 segments, so we usually have like 2 little sections in between our segments that we can remind you guys to please check the description in the YouTube video. Please check the Facebook post for the link to our GoFundMe, where we are collecting funds to give to Global Giving, an organization that supplies PPEs to medical workers on the front lines trying to stem the spread of the coronavirus, and we all want to get the fuck out of our houses. So, please give. I will double all donations up to $700 between now and tomorrow. And that will be our last fundraising push for this particular campaign. That's the end of Sound Booth Theater Live, the movie, and Sound Booth Theater Live to the rescue, for now. So yes, thank you guys. Thank you to everyone who's already donated. And if you guys can help us out, please do. check the link in the description of the YouTube video or in the Facebook post. Thank you. On to part 2 of Scene 8.
Scene 8, Part 2. Exterior. The Davies driveway. Early afternoon.
I can't believe it's finally happening.
I know. It feels so surreal, doesn't it?
Totally. But I'm excited to see you. Shy smiley face emoji.
Same here. Can't wait. I definitely don't want to crowd you, though. So let me know when you're settled in, and I'll head over.
Sure thing. We'll keep you posted. Lauren's still packing at the moment. Eye roll emoji.
That sounds familiar, haha. At least this time, you will actually make it back.
Don't jinx it.
Fingers crossed, of course.
That's better?
In the days, or weeks, or months since Felicity's Instagram inbox grew heavy with message requests from Julian Child's fans, both her love life and America have reached something of a new normal. The New York City lockdown is over, and it is time for Felicity and Lauren to return home. Of course, Felicity recognizes that the disastrousness of her personal affairs pales in comparison to the disastrousness of the international crisis from which the world is beginning to emerge. Yet there was a moment back when she first became aware of Julian's duplicitous nature, the bastard, when she wasn't so sure. Rather than risk betraying how hurt she was by typing out a confrontation, she had simply sent Julian a screenshot of the message she'd received from @RememberMeRose, and tried not to count the minutes until she received his reply.
My darling Felicity, this is why I didn't want you reading those messages. While I admit that there is truth to what Rose said, I do feel she has misrepresented aspects of our relationship. I truly believe that I have not wronged her by getting to know you. And as you know, you and I have made no promises to one another. I also want you to know that my message was truly meant for you. But a single gesture can have more than one meaning, can it not? I hope that this moment of discord does not slow a relationship that has otherwise been blossoming like the roses you're so fond of. White heart emoji, rose emoji, white heart emoji, rose emoji.
Felicity's heart broke while reading Julian's anti-apology, not out of lost love, but out of shame. Shame! To avoid the potential for further humiliation, Felicity instead opted to leave him on read, which I believe is shorthand for when the recipient of a message turns on their read receipts, so the sender knows the recipient has read the message and is choosing not to respond to it. Whether affected or genuine, Julian's oblivion led him to send Felicity a few more messages in the days that followed, each of which ignored the apparent strife in their relationship and further irked Felicity. This ultimately made it easier for her to ignore Julian and focus her energy on reconnecting with Ford, who, as you know, eagerly offered his shoulder, when Felicity needed one on which to cry.
So, what's up?
I don't even know where to begin.
As Felicity tearfully recounted her delusions of romance with Julian, Ford did his best to appear unaffected. Although he fancies himself the sort of person who doesn't pay attention to people who include trending on social media among their primary career goals, he found himself feeling begrudgingly impressed that Felicity had ensnared the interest of such a high-profile persona.
I just feel so embarrassed that I let myself get caught up in something so obviously stupid. I don't even really know how I even got there in the first place. It all started because I wanted to escape the feeling of being overwhelmed by responsibilities in my social life And next thing I know, I'm getting bombarded with hate messages from people I've never even met. And for what? So some bullshit spewing influencer could make a fool out of me?
Don't be so hard on yourself. Maybe on a subconscious level, you just wanted something superficial to distract you from how real everything going on in the world right now is. I know I did. Honestly, since we stopped talking, I did my fair share of distraction seeking. And all that got me was a bunch of shitty Zoom dates. It got to the point where even the ones that weren't shitty somehow felt shitty, you know?
Yeah, I guess so.
Felicity bristled at Ford's mention of dating other women. After all, didn't he want to be with her? Still, she recognized that her feelings of betrayal were ultimately unfair to someone whom she discarded, to then begin pursuing an internet celebrity, and thought it best not to express her ill feelings.
What I'm trying to get at is that I don't think you should feel bad for making a weird choice during a weird time. Lots of people are making far crazier choices. Have you seen some of the quarantine self-haircuts people are posting?
Oh. You have a point there.
And I guess I'm also trying to say that maybe it can be hard to interpret what's real when reality feels so fundamentally screwed up. Anyway, I'm really sorry you got hurt that way. You don't deserve that.
Thank you, Ford. I'm sorry, too. You didn't deserve to be blown off like that.
Hey, at least you were honest with me.
This first warm conversation set the stage for many other conversations and messages to follow. As Felicity found herself beginning to get to know Ford again, she slowly started to forget Julian Child, and even more remarkably, she began to forgive him. Their brief digital affair had become a joke, Felicity told her friends during Zoom happy hours, when with his sham video gesture becoming the punchline. Quarantine wore on, and there were still difficult days to come, but Felicity faced them with a new vitality. Back in the present, whenever that may be, Lauren has finally finished packing.
Finally?
This would go faster if you helped me out with these.
More fun to watch. Besides, I hate to deprive you of one of the last quarantine workouts.
You're the worst.
And that's why you love me.
Felicity says as she goes to unburden Lauren of some of her luggage. I'm sure it goes without saying that the sisters quickly resolve their argument from the evening of Julian's deceit.
Thank you. Well, you're not the worst after all.
But you already knew that.
I guess I did.
It's crazy how since we got here, nothing has happened, but also everything has happened.
I know what you mean. I'm definitely ready to go back, though. Aren't you?
I suppose we'll find out.
That's the spirit. So, do you think you and Ford will become an item now?
An item? What are you, 70?
Well, whatever you want to call it. Do you think it'll happen?
We'll see, I guess.
Fair enough. You know, I'm really starting to like him for you.
Really?
Really, really. I think it's cool how much he seems to just get you. Maybe worth holding on to.
Well, I've decided to take the advice of a very wise person. I know. And just take my time and see what happens.
Ah, yes. You're lucky to have such a wise and beautiful person in your life.
If you do say so yourself.
Anyway, I'm gonna start loading the half a dozen frozen casseroles Mom's saddling us with. You wanna help?
Yeah, I'll be in a minute. I just want to enjoy one last moment of peace and quiet before we have to say our goodbyes.
We still have the drive back, you know.
I said peace and quiet, not top 40 and road rage.
You know, I think quarantine has made you funnier.
Ah, yes, I've heard that can happen. Go ahead. I'm right behind you. Well, I guess it's time to enter the new real world.
Just as Felicity begins to brace herself for tearful goodbyes from both her parents, in spite of the fact that they'll see each other next week, her phone buzzes menacingly.
Felicity. In the days, or weeks, or months since you've stopped responding to me, I've done little else besides think about you. I now realize that my efforts to continually bring new meaning to my life were often at the expense of those I cared about. I regret that I hurt you, and I feel I'm finally ready to be with you, and only you. I now see that meeting you as the world collapsed was a pivotal moment in my life, and I would be betraying everything I believe in if I didn't at least try to see it through. I've ceased communication with all of my other amorous connections as a way to prove to you that I am finally deserving of your affection. If you're open to it, I'd like to come to New York to see you and explore the possibility of whether or not we might have a future together. Even if our journey ends after only one meeting, I will have found it to be a worthwhile one. Though, of course, I would prefer something lasting, something real. I wait anxiously for your reply. Yours entirely, Julian.
Ah, shit. Lauren, can you come out here for a second?
End scene.
All right.
Love
the
the Time
end.
of Corona was filmed in front of a live television studio audience. A big thank you to our audience. Yeah, and the
No
author.
animals were harmed.
Yeah, exactly.
Emily Labus!
Yay to you guys!
Yes.
Please tell us
There
about
she
your
is.
experience
The
writing
author
this
herself.
last couple episodes.
Wow.
This double episode.
Yeah, I mean, to be completely honest with you, I think this one presented a very unique challenge in that in the past, I always kind of, well, not the past, I mean, I say it like we've been doing this forever, but it's been 8 weeks. But in the first few weeks, I was getting a little bit frustrated with myself even because I kind of had this feeling like we're moving so slowly. And then here we are, and I feel like we rushed to the end a little bit, which is entirely, on me. But in any event, I think we told the story that we set out to tell. We put my baby to bed, and you guys did an awesome job. And the big thing for me was that I wanted this story to end on a note of ambiguity, and I think that's something that we achieved. So congratulations to all of us, and to all of you for watching us indulge ourselves.
Yes, absolutely. Watching us indulge ourselves is truly what people are here for. Now, now that this one is over, now that this Sambu Theater Live, the movie series is over, we're doing something different with Love in the Time of Corona. Emily is going to take all the episodes. She's going to do some shaving. She's going to do some chipping away, some carving, and reduce it down to about 45 minutes to somewhere between 45 minutes and an hour. And we're going to be performing it live for the Here Now Festival. That is happening. What is that, Friday? June
12th.
June 12th. We're going to be performing it at
8 p.m.
9:30.
Central.
What's that?
I thought it was 8 p.m. Central.
I don't know. I think it's maybe 9:30 Central.
We will confirm the time.
We will confirm the time, but go to
Stay
hearnowfestival.org, HEARNOW festival.org, and you'll find the schedule there. We're going on right after the Independent Audiobook Awards, and we're also going to have a little treat in the middle of the Independent Audiobook Awards, so you guys make sure to watch that. We are nominated for 2 different books, Monster Hunt NYC for Best Audio Drama and World Tree Online for Best LitRPG. The Monster Hunt is written by Mr. Harmon Cooper. There's another Mr. Harmon Cooper title nominated. What wasn't it? Best Female Narration, or is it Best Fantasy? I can't remember. Something. Harmon Cooper wrote it. Andy Parsnow narrated it. That one's up for nomination. And then World Tree Online by E.A. Hooper, narrated by our Mr. Justin Thomas James. So we have a lot of nominations. If you guys will come to the awards and support us, we'd really appreciate it. But right after the awards, one more time, an encore for Love in the Time of Corona. Tightened up a bit. Probably less narration, less, last time on stuff. There's a lot of script that we could suck out, which
More Julian. Can we just have Julian just recount the entire thing?
We need a
himself?
Julian spin-off.
I think Julian
becomes
really.
I honestly think that we could just have Julian read local newspapers aloud, and that could just be it.
Yeah. And then just do
I
his
want to
own.
hear what Julian's take on the news in Muskegee. Let's hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll go on dime store philosophical rants.
Oh, someone
something like
offered to
that.
buy it. I mean,
Oh,
maybe
wow.
someday it'll be out on our new platform that's launching.
Yeah.
And
Definitely a possibility.
yeah, so you guys keep an eye out. Emily, thank you so much for doing
Thank you
this,
guys.
and I
Brilliant,
can't wait to
Emily.
perform it again in June 12th.
My pleasure. And
So-
I can't wait to get to work on my next series for Sambo Theater, which we are not going to talk about right now.
Uh-oh.
Ooh,
But
there is a next.
What we
series.
can tell you is that it is nothing like this one.
I like this. It's a mystery. It's a
Well,
mystery.
you know what it is. You know what it is. You greenlit it.
You know what it is.
Why are you ruining? Why are you ruining this?
I'm so sorry. What I meant to say is, it's a surprise.
Okay, yeah, it is a surprise.
And you have no
I don't know.
idea what
I don't
it's
know
going to
anything
be.
about this.
Everybody just focus on the suspense, ambient sounds
Yeah, do
happening,
that.
Yes.
and that will
Ambient.
tell
So
you
much
all
Man
you
with the
need to
dog.
know this
But in
moment.
any event,
Yes.
writing for you guys has been a dream come true. I cannot wait to do it again for something that is going to be hilarious and outrageous, and I'm excited for you guys to see it. But thank you for indulging me while I got to pay homage to one of my all-time favorite authors. It's been
Thank
so much
you,
fun.
Emily. One more big round of applause
Yeah.
for Emily Labus, author extraordinaire, Love in the Time of Corona. Boom. There you have it.
All right, we're gonna kick
Thank you,
Emily
guys.
out of here. Get the fuck out
Have
of
a
here,
great
Emily.
night.
Bye.
Gone with yourself.
We love you, Emily.
Bye, Emily.
Take care, guys, and don't forget that the one thing I want you to.
Such is modern life.
All right.
It's tragic.
After rudely kicking out Emily, I will redeem myself by once again reminding you guys we are doing this for charity. There is a link in the YouTube description. If you're watching on YouTube, there is a link in the comments of the Facebook post if that's how you're watching it. And we are collecting funds for Global Giving. It's an organization that gives donates PPEs to medical practitioners on the front line who are trying to stem the spread of COVID, and that is something that we really, really, really want to happen. That is why we started this whole thing in the first place. So at this point, we have had, throughout the show, an extra $130 donated.
Hey now.
So we're up to
Nice
150
job.
already. That means
Thank you.
300 total. Remember, guys, if you go all the way up to 700, I am doubling everything up to that. So this also means we've definitely surpassed $5,000 total. Yes. Right? We're at, I think, 5,075. Pretty good.
Wow.
Pretty damn good. I'm proud of you guys. And I think it's time to go on to our next our next project. Now, I think maybe our author for this one might want to join us. I'm going to go ahead and grab the StreamYard link. See if he will take the bait here. Boom, sent through Facebook Messenger. I put the UnderVerse Brightblade Scene 2 in the Discord for you guys. If you want to pick that up, start looking at it now.
Got it.
And as you guys know, or as some of you may know, when we do our requests now with this format, we've been totally fucking them up with crazy improv games. Now, I'm not sure exactly what this one looks like. Let's take a look, guys.
First person narration.
I have an idea that just kind of came to me, but is it okay if I ask
hear
you
it, let's
guys
hear it.
to say the voices like superheroes, like different superheroes, or?
Well, there's already a Captain Adrian West, so that sounds.
Superhero?
Captain Adrian West.
Oh,
He's
wait,
the captain.
Ooh,
British
this
voice.
looks like a role for Gary. Should be a gravelly British Lancashire accent.
I can do a Lancashire.
What is a Lancashire
look at
accent?
her. I'm not entirely certain. I think it's something like this Lancashire.
Yeah.
Something like that.
It's the bikers. It's the
Damn.
biker cooks.
Damn.
You know what I'm talking about? The biker cooks from the.
Backer cooks, no.
Yeah. Okay.
But
well, maybe.
this will be my best attempt.
Okay. I think it's pretty close. I think it's pretty damn close.
Lancashire.
Lancashire. All right. MC. Okay, the main character Jack is from the north of England and has a rough accent closer to Scottish than anything else. If you want an example, look for any recordings of Geordie Shore, and alter however you want. He should be a deep-voiced and generally sarcastic and grumpy. All right. I'm gonna try that. I don't know if anybody else is good with a Northern English accent. I don't think I am, but I'm gonna give it a go.
If it's from Geordie Shore, they're super hard.
Should I take the Lancashire one then?
Whichever. I mean, I can't. We'll just do our very best. We'll just
All
go
right.
north. We're all from Winterfell.
Got it. We're all from Winterfell. All right. The announcer announcing the fight, thinking like a boxing announcer. All right. So, can you do some Michael Buffer for us, Justin Thomas James?
Yes. Who is Michael Buffer?
Oh,
is he
my
the
God.
guy from
So
Funny
Canadian.
Let's get ready to roll. Is it that guy?
Yes, that guy.
That guy. Oh yeah.
Let's get. But it's the rich deep voice, not the
got
UFC not the UFC one. That's like.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Yeah, there we go.
Sounds so painful every time he says it's time.
It's time. Yeah, it's. Fucking
Is that the UFC guy or is
Yeah,
this
yeah.
the
Time.
Okay.
That's Bruce Buffer is the UFC guy, and Michael Buffer is the boxing guy. We want the boxing
The
guy.
brothers.
They
the
are
Buffer
brothers.
brothers.
The Buffer brothers, indeed. Okay.
Is he the dude's brother?
Yeah, they're brothers.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, the story goes, Bruce Buffer watched Michael Buffer do it and was like, I want to do that, and so he found his own market. Bam.
Fair play.
Johan, male dressing room attendant. Any accent you want? Anybody want that one? Helena, female dressing room attendant. Any accent you want?
I can do Johan, or someone else wants to do Johan.
Can Johan and Helena
I could
both
do
be
I
both
could
be
do
like
Johan
Icelandic,
and Helena.
or like like Slavic? Not Slavic.
I mean, it sounds like-
be Swedish. How about that?
Swedish.
Johan
How about
and
Justin?
Helena?
Justin, you be Johan. Annie,
I'll
you be
take
Helena.
Johan. Okay. I'll
Yes,
be Johan.
Yes, please. Thank
Yes,
you.
please, more.
All right. So we haven't gotten a response from Mr. Oh man. Oh jeez. How do I say this name? Has Cajiao.
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 Jeziajao is his name. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Well, if he's,
my friend,
he's got
I'm
the
sorry.
Invitation.
Yes, he has the invitation. We are watching backstage for him to pop up. But for now, we're going to move on.
Cajiao?
Cajiao.
I don't know.
Yes, Cajiao. That's what I hope is the pronunciation of his name. Because that's like hard.
Yeah.
That's like awesome. Like you could come into a room and just say your name and everybody would be impressed. They'd be like, "Whoa. Oh wait, that's your name? Cool. That's even better." That's what it would be like. I'm very envious of yes, Cajiaos. name. All right.
Jolly.
I'll go ahead and narrate.
Yeah,
How's that
let's
sound?
do it.
Sounds good.
Beautiful.
Go for it.
This is a scene from the arena fight. 12 representatives of the great houses are pitted against each other. Only the winner can travel to the Underverse. All right, here goes. The hours passed slowly, but all too soon. They returned, announcing that the first round would begin in 10 minutes. With them came a pair of officials who checked my blood to be sure I was... Oh, sorry. Main character is Jack, so this has to be Gary.
What's that?
It has to be Gary doing Geordie Shore.
You guys,
Oh God.
I have to go to the bathroom.
No. Okay, go.
That'll
Go
give me
ahead.
a second to look at what the fuck
Geordie
what they sound like.
Yeah.
All right, it's cool. I don't think Helena's going to be around for a little bit.
A Geordie is someone like from like Newcastle, I think.
Right. Have you ever watched a YouTube channel called Worth a Buy?
No.
He's a video game reviewer.
Is he from the
He's
north?
I was told he's got a Geordie accent. Let's see here.
I'll be right back
Bye.
also.
Everyone's taking a bathroom break.
No.
This is
I
a
shouldn't think it's
disaster.
It's because we've all
All
been
right.
drinking tonight.
Here goes.
You can shoot one of those two, and can I just say, guys, they are
About
a
10
breath
years.
of fresh air. The whole
The hours
story
pass
is
slowly.
about these
Oh God, I'm not going to do a good job of this.
I mean, BJ Belowskowitz, who's probably mansplaining to somebody.
Mansplaining to someone. I'll just do a generic northern accent, which will piss a lot of people off. I mean, the hours passed slowly, but all too soon they returned, announcing that the first round will begin in 10 minutes.
All right.
Oh, but
We'll give it a go.
He's rougher. He's rougher.
He's
accent.
rougher. Yeah,
Newcastle.
it's
difficult.
He sounds a little more Scottish, a little bit.
We can either go north of England or just pure Scottish. Geordie is like. Oh, did you ever hear what's her name? Nicole off
Is it worth a buy?
Britain's Got Talent. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
That sounds like
do
that sounds
do
like
that.
it.
Do that.
Let's do a Cockney for the hours passed slowly, but all too soon they returned, announcing that Michael Caine was in the fucking room.
Do that. Let's just do that. Yeah. All right.
I need to practice my Geordie then. Definitely. Oh no!
Okay,
Just
so I think it's just you and me for a while, so we can get
Okay.
started.
I'll just. The hours passed slowly, but all too soon they returned, announcing that the first round would begin in 10 minutes. With them came a pair of officials who checked my blood to be sure I was who I was supposed to be. They also asked a series of questions, from my background to any wishes for my remains if I fell in battle. They finished by reiterating the few rules, making sure I knew them. No attacking the noble booths, no magic in the corridors, and no use of healing potions in the arena. I gathered my gear when we were done and followed them and out into the corridor.
Same accent, Jeff.
A detachment of guards in the black livery of the Baron waited for me. They formed up and led me through a series of short, bare-walled corridors. Fuck me. Corridors until we... Oh my god, this is terrible. Until we stopped at a large portcullis. West turned to me and gave me a quick grin.
On my west now.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. Don't disappoint me now, lad. I've got money on you winning this.
All right, one thing. He should be gravelly, and he's the Lancashire one.
Don't disappoint me now, lad. I've got money on you winning this.
He winked at me, clapped me on the shoulder, and walked away. Turning back, I exited the corridor into an arena similar to the Roman Colosseum. It was circular, with enclosed areas built into the walls, one level up for our betters to watch from in comfort. I peered into one of the alcoves, and sure enough, the Baron sat there glowering at me. I made finger guns with my hands and pointed them at him, winking. Before, it's like almost going Australian. Oh, God. Before turning my back on him, I wanted to do a lot more than just annoy him, but this wasn't the time.
Justin,
Yeah.
you're narrating now.
Same accent.
Same accent.
Yeah.
Same. There's a tip.
Aye.
Same.
I examined the arena more carefully, noting that the sand was shallow, enough to soak up blood, but not deep enough to bog you down. And there were various small walls dotted about the place.
Oh, I'm so glad I'm not the worst one
Finally,
here. All right.
Shut your mouth there, you flippity gibber. Sections of the walls that were flat, while others had spikes protruding from them in waves. They'd probably come in useful later. The entire arena was maybe 100 feet across and 50 feet high, with the onlookers enclosed in clear glass that I just knew was...
All right, Annie.
Oh no.
Yeah.
From clear
You guys are
glass.
lucky I remembered to come back. I literally forgot what I was doing for like 30 seconds. I was like,
You're like pouring a tea, sitting on the porch.
I was like looking at my profile in the mirror. I was like, oh, that's tonight. My hair did good tonight. Oh my God! It's Sound Theater Live!
And that's why we're not allowed to take bathroom breaks.
Aaron, I know how to. Okay, wait. Where are we though? I'd entered through an iron portcullis.
The arena was maybe... We're second paragraph from...
The entire
The
arena.
arena.
The entire
arena.
arena.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any notes for me? Am I supposed to take over where Justin left
Lancashire.
off?
Yes, northern...
The
Just
entire
copy exactly
arena.
what I was doing.
The entire arena was maybe 100 feet across
It's already better.
and 50 feet high, with the onlookers enclosed in clear glass that I just knew was bulletproof.
This is like a Londoner on opium. Good.
They
Good. I
wouldn't
like
want
this.
to risk being
Eating
injured
a
during
marshmallow.
the festivities, after all. On either side of each booth were banners that hung in the air. I'd enter through the iron portcullis, which had closed after me. And there was another one of the far side of the arena that remained steadily closed. The Baron, I noted, had a hunting card as his sigil. I looked vaguely like a panther.
Gary, just same, but just faster.
It looked vaguely like a panther and was all black, outlined in red with a black background. I shook my head at its crudity. Any halfway decent graphic designer would have done better. I'd have a better one made words I killed him into a Gover. I paused at that idle thought, then shrugged. I'd kill him for a penny, never mind replacing Miss Baron. Fuck it. I walked around a little, getting a good look at the inhabitants of the boxes. Several were empty, but most had a few people in them by now, with servants providing drinks and food. I heard a rattle and I turned back to the portcullis opposite the one I'd entered from. It slowly rose and a tall man entered.
Jeff, you're up. It slowly rose. You just Southern England? Is there a thing?
Southern. Okay, so yeah.
Is there a Southern
London-y.
England?
Like London, yeah, we're kind of... It slowly rose, and a tall man entered. He was dressed in leather armour, with a sword on one hip and a bow in his hand. A green cloak covered him from head to ankle, and he kept his face hidden, but I saw a hint of a short blonde beard as he pulled his hood further forward, twisting its sides until they met in the middle and wound tight. As the cloak sealed shut, he straightened and started circling me. I'd frozen, wondering what he was doing, until a gong rang out and he drew an arrow back, letting fly almost at once. I barely had time to dive aside, and it missed me by inches.
An octave higher.
I rolled to my feet, and then on instinct, I jumped to the right, feeling another arrow pass through the air I'd just occupied. The bastard could see through the fabric of the cloak. His face was totally covered. It even looked like someone had stitched it closed. No, I couldn't even see a seam, but he could see me just fine. I set off running, left and right, zigzagging towards him as fast as I could, trying to cover the distance and close in on him before he could hit me. I managed to dodge the next 2 arrows and cover 3/4 of the distance to him before he managed to hit me with the third. It hammered on into my left shoulder, piercing the armour to cut into my skin, but luckily it only embedded an inch or so.
Justin?
The real issue was that he staggered me, giving him time to fire another arrow, this time aiming for my head. It struck a glancing blow, but the small steel strips woven into the helm protected me, turning what could have been a stunning or even fatal blow into a painful and annoying one. He was backing away as he fired, but I still managed to approach close to a dozen feet from him, and I staggered back on track, sprinting the remaining distance. I saw him throw his bow aside and draw his sword.
This is like Michael Palin in the Holy Grail when King Arthur like finds him in the field and he's like, "Oh, I didn't vote for you."
Well, I didn't vote for it. I'm being oppressed.
All right, did you buzz somebody?
Yes. It's Annie.
Thankfully, I don't know where we are. I was lost.
fixated.
Thankfully.
Was it thankfully?
Well, I was
fixated.
wait, same
While
thing?
I was
Okay.
fixated on the
Well, I
sword.
was fixated on the sword he swung back and forth. His other hand had been hidden from view until he shoved it forward. Red light danced across his fingers and flashed over the intervening space to strike me. My world erupted into madness as the spell took hold of me. My limbs spasmed and shook.
Whisper.
My limbs spasmed and shook as every nerve from my brain to my toes seemed to fill with agony. The spell was over in a few seconds, but I fell forwards, my mind blank in pain. I felt his sword slash across my prone form. Oh, that was an especially creepy line, done in a whisper. Thankfully, most of the damage was deflected by the leather armor, and the thin bands of metal sewn into it. But the tip dug in, almost severing my ears in a spray of blood. As it clogged the side of my helmet, I'm not stopping. You can't stop me in the middle, I'm almost done. Roll the wagon stick.
All right.
Same thing.
Where are we?
I don't know. Is it? What? I think he hit the ground next to me. Is that right?
I rolled away instinctively.
Yeah.
I'm just looking for it now. Fuck. I'm lost.
It's the beginning of it's a two-line paragraph. I rolled away.
I rolled away.
I found it.
Yeah, he found it.
5.
Nice. Nicely done.
I rolled away instinctively, lunging to my feet as my mind cleared from the pain and shook. Bringing up the naginata. I'd only managed to keep a hold of it by luck and my convulsing muscles' inability to drop it. I rushed in and fainted at his head with the blade of my naginata before spinning and striking his left hand with the butt, numbing his fingers and sending the dagger flying. He lunged at me, his sword being deflected down by my blade, but it left me out of position, and he knew it. While our blades were entangled, he shoved forward, driving his shoulder into my chest and sent me staggering back. I fell hard.
Am I still whispering?
Yes.
No. All right. I was unable to follow him. Where are we? Where are we supposed to go? The arrowhead? He hit the ground?
hard.
Yeah,
I fell hard.
I fell hard. Oh, I fell. Where is that? Oh, shit.
Just one sentence above, he hit the ground next to me.
All right. At that point, I grabbed his right wrist and banged his sword hand off the ground repeatedly until he lost his grip and it went flying. At that point, the fight broke down into a barrage of fists and jabs. We rolled back and forth, sand flying everywhere, until I ended up on my back. It was a risk, but I needed to end this fight fast, as the arrow in my shoulder was doing more damage by the minute. The arrowhead was soaring back and forth, and my arm was already numb and weakening. I knew that soon I wouldn't be able to use it at all. He took the blade
real show.
It's erotic.
There's something after.
Hey.
Oh, that little microphone's kind of making me want to shoot, Gary.
Hey. He took the bait, lunging on top of me, only realizing how easy it was when it was too late. I grabbed both wrists, twisting them inwards as I pulled his arms straight, locking his elbows. I pulled my feet up and planted them hard on his hips. Then I straightened my legs, powering him backwards, leaving his arms fully extended. And before he could move, I wrapped my left leg around him, tucking my foot under his chin for leverage. I pushed him back again with my right
I
leg.
told you, Gary, we had to keep going.
Then wrapped my right foot around his neck from the opposite angle. With his arms locked and his neck trapped between my feet, I twisted and
Slower.
straightened my legs
Slower.
as hard as I could, pile driving him into the floor, face first.
Does anybody else need a cigarette?
Oh no.
What? I pulled him back and did it 3 times more
God.
before I felt something give and his struggles stopped abruptly. I paused for a second, then unraveled my legs and kicked him away from me weakly. The cloak came undone and his face was exposed for the first time since the fight began. It was a bloody ruin. And the angle his head sat at made his neck was clearly broken.
Oh.
Same intensity.
That story took a strange turn. It wasn't what I was expecting.
The tone completely changes. It's so
What's
funny.
the beginning of the next paragraph?
I'd won my fight.
I won my first fight.
First fight, sorry.
I'm really far away from wherever we are.
It's a
Beginning
one
of
sentence
page
paragraph.
3.
I'd won my first fight.
Line 2. I'd won my first fight.
It's like page- It's like page 3. Page 3,
Page 3.
second
Okay, I won
paragraph.
my
It's one
first
sentence.
fight. Oh,
This
gosh,
is,
this
by the
going
way,
so slowly.
for all of you
Okay.
watching, this is all part of the script.
Yes.
It just goes into page 3. It's page 3.
It's page 3. Where are we?
Where are we? I've lost my
This-
place.
this-
Shit.
Second
This book
paragraph.
really needs an
This is
editor.
all part of the
Okay.
narration, guys.
We have been
Very-
on point the
won.
entire time.
I'd won my first fight. I coughed and laid back, staring up at the ceiling and trying to calm my racing heart as a voice rang out across the arena.
My lords and ladies, we have a winner! House Sanguis wins and is through to the next round. House Orbis is defeated. The next bout will begin in 10 minutes. Thank
I
you.
looked up. You're welcome. I looked up at the booth where the Baron sat, and he raised his glass to me. The smug bastard actually looked proud. I hated him even more. I slowly got to my feet as 4 people entered and raced towards me. I grabbed my
Naginata.
naginata, but recognized
It's a big stick with a blade on the end of it.
Well, that's a word I'm going to want to know. I grabbed my naginata, but recognized the first 2 as my chamber attendants from earlier, and none of them were armed. The other 2 ran to my...
Twice as fast. No. 3 times.
Uh-oh.
and be mathematically accurate.
The other two, wait, did you say me or somebody else?
Yes, you.
The other two ran to my opponent's corpse, sobbing, and fell to their knees in the sand to check him over for signs of life. They didn't find any. My lord, you were
No,
amazing!
this is Johan. That's Johan.
My lord, you were amazing.
Johan, the male attendant gushed at me, while the female was already stalking towards the other two on the ground and saying something. I ignored the by-play and spoke to the man.
That's still you.
Okay, sorry,
Just get back.
I was in the bathroom for a long time.
You're Swedish.
Just get me back to my room and get this thing out of me, I grunted, lightly touching the arrow with one hand.
Of course, my lord. This way, Helena will see to your spoils. Never fear. I can have that wound taken care of in no time. You were amazing, though, my lord, truly. The way you baited him in, ignoring every defense against the arrows, you must be the bravest of the competitors.
No defense against the arrows.
No, Gary.
Yeah, what am I doing? Just the same thing? No defense against the arrows. I
Fast.
didn't have any. Then I remembered the small walls dotted around the floor. Looking at them as I passed, I realized I could have run from one to another and covered at least half the distance safely. Damn, I'm a fucking idiot, aren't I? I staggered along to my room, feeling exhausted and depressed. Once the adrenaline wore off, the knowledge that I just killed another man, a real human from my own world, not in a dream, came crashing down. I felt sick. I felt confused. I felt elated. That made me feel sick all over again. Once inside my room, I left the servant. Johan helped me. He stripped my armor off and gently eased the arrow from my shoulder. When we looked at the wound, it was a mess. All the fighting and movement had allowed the sharp tip of the arrow to carve me up. Shit, man, can you stitch them? I asked, knowing that if I lost the use of that arm, I had no chance of surviving the night, let alone keeping my ear attached.
I can, my lord, but surely it would be better to heal them instead.
He asked me confusedly. Heal it? How can you heal it? I asked, latching onto any hope like a drowning man. I don't know what it's...
With a healing potion or spell, my lord. I am experienced with several basic healing spells, but using them now could mean I don't have enough mana to heal you fully later tonight. We also have one potion, but it is a single use, so using it for minor injuries like these would be a waste.
He stood waiting expectantly as I considered the options. No! If I don't have the use of that arm, I'll die.
Captain Kirk.
No, if I don't have the use of that arm, I'll die anyway. Fuck it! Heal me. I held my ear and tried not to think about how close the blade had come. There was no point in saving the mana. If I was going to have to fight another round, I needed to be at peak condition. Johan lifted both hands to my shoulder and began to chant the words clearly, the accompanying gestures similar to those I had learned on my own weak healing spell. Healing spells! Do they work on diseases? What about cancer? I asked suddenly, a horrible suspicion in my mind.
Of course, my lord. Cancer is a simple thing to rectify using healing spells. Provided it has not gone too far, it would be relatively cheap in terms of mana as well.
He announced this merrily, as though it was such a simple, minor detail, only of note because it allowed him to show his knowledge. Johan moved his hands, glowing with energy, across my wounds, healing them as he went and filling the air with inane chatter about his pride and his skills. So, not only could the Baron have saved my mother if he'd wanted to, but it would have been simple for him. That rat bastard. I seethed inwardly as Johan finished up his spell. I watched the wound fill with heavy muscle, healthy muscle, as impurities, sand, and debris were pushed out as skin knit together. Within a handful of seconds, it was healed, with only a faint white line left to mark out its location.
My lord, is something.
Just drop it. Now.
Jeff, take over narration.
I
You're Spock.
growled at him. I sat there fuming, trying to tamp my anger down as Johan tried to work out how he'd angered me, until his partner, Helena, returned. She came in with an armful of gear, dumping it on the bench next to me and curtsying. I looked it over and recognized the cloak my opponent had been wearing, as well as the rest of his gear. I stared at the blood seeping out of it, staining the bench next to and turned to her in shock to find her smiling widely. Seriously, what the actual fuck? I asked her, gesturing at the gear. What is this? What, you stripped his body just in case I fancied a trophy? What is wrong with you people? I realize I'm doing like the host of the Twilight Zone instead, but sorry.
Okay.
It is similar.
The smile dropped from her face, and
Actually,
she
yes,
spoke up
yes,
quickly.
Rod Stewart? Rod Stewart?
Rod Stewart?
No.
The singer?
No, not
Like
Rod
you want me to
Stewart.
do Rod Stewart? Or?
You're talking about Riker, right?
No,
Ah.
the name of the host of Twilight Zone.
Oh.
Somebody help me out.
I don't know.
Rod
He plays Riker in
Sir,
Star Trek,
Serling?
right?
Something?
Rod Sterling.
Sterling, yeah.
Oh.
Rod
that's right,
Sterling.
Riker.
Yes.
So not only could the Baron... Yeah, okay. So, all right, my lord, something... Wait, drop it now. But, my lord, who is this saying this?
This is
I think
Annie.
it's probably
Okay,
me now.
okay, so you are now the...
You are the
But, my
Swedish
lord,
girl.
these are your spoils.
Yeah.
Some of it could serve you well. The bow is strong and
Wow.
the bow is strong and grants an increase to your archery skill. This is the worst. This is the worst. This is like the actor's nightmare, but it's not a nightmare. It's real life.
Yep. No, it's...
the
Yeah,
daytime.
you gotta live it.
Keep
The
Live it.
armor is the armor is unenchanted
Yeah.
but strong. This breastplate is intact. In case your own is damaged. Lastly, his cloak was an heirloom of his house, and so must be powerful.
I stared at her in confusion before turning back to the pile of gear. She didn't see any issue with looting a guy I'd just killed. Logically, I supposed neither should I. He certainly hadn't paused before trying to kill me. I checked through the gear, not seeing anything besides the occasional carved symbol in the wood on the bow to suggest it was special in any way. I touched the cloak, but it was drenched with his blood, and I could see bits of flesh in the hood. I backed away from it, refusing to touch it.
Clean
Clean
it.
it.
Sorry.
No, that's me. Clean it. Clean it all and put it aside for me, I muttered, trying to keep myself from being sick. I turned away and stripped off, walking down the steps and wading out into the small pool until I could submerge myself. I took a deep breath and sank to the bottom, sitting cross-legged and letting the world above recede from my mind. I concentrated on my...
Okay, Justin, it's the end of Saturday Night Live.
I concentrated on my heartbeats,
is the
surfacing
beginning.
on. Oh wait, this is the beginning, right?
Yeah.
That's fine. Beginning's fine.
I
there,
concentrated on my
There's no
heartbeat,
end of
Yeah,
Saturday
this is
Night
it.
Live.
This is it. This is it.
surfacing only to catch my breath, breathe deeply again, and then sink to the bottom once more. When I eventually felt myself in control again, I slowly waded out, climbed the steps, and laid down on the table. Johan and Helena began to massage my skin, rubbing the aches and pains away until I fell asleep. I know. Helena awoke me 2 hours later to tell me that the first round was over and the second would begin soon. That meant 6 people were dead, and I had to survive this round to get to the final. I felt different about the things for some reason. More at peace with it. The assholes I had faced had gone in there to kill me. I was a prisoner. I had decided to try to win this and get help with my brother, but I could have refused, and had no doubt the Baron would have locked me away and then thrown me into this arena without the training and weapons. I had no choice, but the rest of them, they wanted this. Coldplay is here. Fuck it, I take their heads and I go through the portal alright, but the joke would be on the Baron yet, and I get somehow, even if I just embarrassed him as thoroughly as possible before going through.
One more page.
I'd seen my notification windows flashing earlier, but I'd ignored it. Now seemed like the best time to check it, so I flexed a mental muscle and brought up the page before me.
Yeah.
And yeah. Woo! And
All right. Annie, you're congratulations.
Congratulations!
yes.
You have killed a level 9 ranger. You receive 180 XP. Progressed to level 5 stands at 615 out of 2,700 XP.
Continue.
Me?
Yes.
I dismissed it Pleased to see that I was climbing steadily towards the next level. I hoped for more experience, maybe even a level, but hell, it was better than I would have gotten without the pearl. I dressed slowly, settling my gear into place and checking my weapons. Before I finished, I put my helmet on the table and told the servants to wait outside and not to disturb me until I was time. I walked back and forth into the small room, my nerves getting the best of me as I paced. I couldn't help running the fight over and over in my mind, trying to see other ways I could have gone. The truth of it was that I had been damn lucky. And I threw myself down in the chair in one corner of the room. I heard paper crinkle and locked down in confusion, pulling a folded note from the side of the seat.
Gary, you're the AI now.
It seems you're not well liked by the Baron Sanguis.
Yes!
Perhaps another house would be a better benefactor. If you wish to know more of Thomas's tale, then look to us.
I would like to know more of Thomas's tale, please. Continue.
So I turned the paper over, finding a stylized bird in flight on the back. I'd seen the symbol on the banners that flanked one of the booths. I was sure, but there have been so many. On impulse, I tucked the paper into my pocket. I didn't know who they were, but the last thing I wanted was the Baron knowing I was looking around. I sat for a few minutes after searching for any other notes and finding none, until a knock on the door jolted me from my musings.
I've got to help Sid's not watching right now. She'll be puking in her mouth.
Oh,
Getting
that's
sick.
true. Addie, this is your line.
It's time, my lord.
Hell in
No,
the
we need the
cold
proper
hour.
accent.
It is time, my lord.
Thank you.
Hell in the cold down to she opened the door. It's time for round 2.
Done. End scene.
Yes.
Oh, that
yes,
was grueling
yes.
and fun at the same time.
Oh yes.
You guys,
yes.
what a great show we had today.
It's crazy how a fight scene can quickly become a hardcore love
Oh
scene.
my God.
Especially, okay, so obviously, I think from the name of the author, I think he's probably Brazilian, maybe. So it would make
so
sense that this is like
jujitsu?
jujitsu. He's trying to.
Yeah,
he's
I was
trying
like,
to.
He's doing a
Right.
lot with his legs, bro.
Well, okay. At first I thought it was a triangle, but there's something like then wrapped my right foot around his neck from the opposite angle. I mean, I guess with his arms
dude's
locked and his
neck.
neck trapped between.
I'd have to.
Why
I'll
would
be
his
honest,
neck be trapped between his feet?
I
if
didn't
it's
really-
A triangle? It doesn't make
see-
sense. I don't know
see-
why his feet are trapping his neck.
One of the drawbacks of doing crazy voices the whole time is that I don't think I registered a lick of that entire scene. Like I think that like it was just like word in, word out, and then brain was not involved other
Yeah.
than accent and
Feet were in
speed.
faces, foot under chin, legs are wrapping.
Yeah.
I
But it's
twisted
fun
and
as hell.
straightened my legs as hard as I could, pile driving him into the. So twisted and then straightened. I mean,
Yes,
like
but
I don't know.
see-
I don't know what that's supposed to be. I'm sorry, I'm having a hard
It's a lot
time.
of thigh action, though, right? Like it's
I mean,
It's
thigh,
all in
but
the
it doesn't say
thighs.
thigh. It says feet. It says feet.
oh, it's foot action.
Foot action. Yeah, but you need your thighs
Like
to move your
like
feet.
I was
in a
thinking
triangle,
that,
one
but I
foot would
wasn't
be
gonna say.
sort of close to their neck, and the other foot would be like down closer to their hip, or across their
The
back.
last name is Colombian.
Corey Wilson says
According
that
to
to us.
Torio.
All right.
Okay.
Well,
that answers that one.
regardless, thank you, Cajiao, for
Yes.
your submission. And if you're an author and you have submissions that you would like for us to read and butcher in our accents, that we also butcher, for the most part, sometimes not.
Sometimes
There's a way to do that. How do they do that, Jeff? How do they?
well, they would make a request on the poll that Danny Katz likes to put on our Facebook group. That is our requests only poll, and we're gonna keep doing requests, I think, weekly, but just one. And I don't know what else we're gonna do with the format. We need to talk about it. figure out exactly what's happening.
If you have any ideas, if you have anything that you're like, okay, all right, we got narrators, we got authors, we got fans. Okay, let's put these people together and then see what comes out. If you have any ideas that you'd like to see us do that maybe we haven't thought of, let us know. Let us know in a comment on SBTL.
Make
I
a
like
post.
This game.
Make a post.
I like all the improv games.
Me too.
Me too.
So make a Facebook post. Anybody who has ideas of what you would like to see us do in this show. And one last time, everybody, if you could please check the description in this video. You will find a link to our GoFundMe. We are raising money for Global Giving, who is trying to supply PPEs to the medical practitioners on the front lines who are trying to stem the spread of COVID.
Personal protective equipment.
That's
That's
what
equipment that
PPE
keeps
means.
them safe from contracting the disease themselves,
Indeed.
the virus themselves.
So there's our GoFundMe in our description in the YouTube video. There's the GoFundMe link in the Facebook post. If you're watching it through Facebook, please check that out. Drop us a few bucks and I'll double it. And right now, it looks like today, so far, we have raised $150.
Hell yeah!
So that's
$300.
That's $300 total. I'm gonna
awesome,
keep
guys.
we're gonna
Thank
keep
you.
it open for another day, maybe 2 days, in case you guys want to drop just a little bit more. Again, remember, anything that you put in there is getting doubled up until $700. So that's more than $5,000 we have. We've accumulated over the past 8 weeks. I feel good about it. I hope it's helping. I hope it's doing our part. And that's it. That's Sound Booth Theater Live, the movie. That was the finale, guys. Keep an eye out on our Facebook group. You'll see posts about the Here Now Festival very soon.
Another round of applause for Emily Labus and her
Absolutely.
wonderful script.
Absolutely.
Incredible.
Great script, which she will be paring down and fitting into a 45-hour format so that we can perform it once again live all the way through for the Here Now Festival. Again, keep an eye out for details. And that's the show. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us and all your generosity.
Yay!
And we will see you next week.